Hello, everybody. I am Hoarder Gamer, and this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. I do apologize. There was some interesting scheduling stuff going on this week. So, originally I was going to do the episode on Thursday, and that didn't pan out. Then it was going to be Friday, and now it's Saturday. But I definitely said it would be this weekend, and here is the episode. We've got games for you. We're going to toy around. We're also going to look at the very near future of comic books all the way to 1 week from today. First up, we're going to talk about gaming, and we're going to begin with one of my favorite games, Diablo 4. I also very much enjoyed Diablo 3, so that's not the only one I've played. And probably put about 100 hours, maybe 150 into Diablo 2 Resurrected. So I am what they call a console peasant, which meaning that I, didn't play on PC. So I didn't have the 20 years of playing Diablo 2 that some people have. Anyway, for Diablo 4, they had their campfire chat on Friday. And it was all about Season 5 and the test server update for it. And the whole test will start next week, and it lasts 2 weeks. The big part of it is it's going to add more endgame, and it directly connects Diablo 4 to Season 2. I apologize. It directly connects Diablo 4 to Diablo 2, and it reintroduces the Fell Council. Now, that's not based on Norman Fell, the actor from Three's Company, who played Mr. Roper. No, that's not what the Fell Council is. They're basically former Zakarum priests, and they were corrupted by Mephisto. Now, the interesting story about the Zakarum priests, they were originally good and on the side of the Hoarder and everything like that. But then it got terribly corrupted, and even the symbol for Zakarum was actually connected to the devils, or the burning hells. There's a connection to that from the beginning, and it was secretly that evil was behind all of it, but no one knew until the priests started getting terribly corrupted. So yeah, pretty wild stuff. And yes, that ties directly into the Spiritborn and the new expansion, the Vessel of Hatred. Now, we just found out, too, the Vessel of Hatred, that launches on October 8th, and on that same day is the launch of Season 6 of Diablo. So right now we're talking about Season 5, but right when that expansion comes out, that's going to be the launch of Season 6. Season 5 is going to be the shortest season of Diablo 4 at just about, roughly right now, it sounds like 2 months, maybe a little over 2 months. Okay. Now, there's also going to be a number of quality of life changes. Fighting the endgame bosses, like the Beast in Ice, Varshan, things like that. Some of those are more difficult to fight than others because of the summoning necessary. They're actually going to lessen the requirements to fight them, or actually to summon them, and that's great because Varshan, you needed a trembling hand, I believe a malignant heart, and then you needed a head, just like a corpse's head. I forget the term for it, but you needed all those things in order to fight him, and now it's basically you just need the heart. So you have a malignant heart, and you can summon Varshan. And they're trying to do that with all the bosses because they didn't want to make it too difficult and too grindy in order just to have a chance to get some cool loot by defeating them. Okay, so that's the very bare bones of it, okay? So for more detail, we are going to a series of pictures that I snapped. Okay. So the public test realm, it's available June 25th. So already next Tuesday for Diablo Season 5. Diablo 4 Season 5. There's so many numbers there. Repeating that as much as I do, I'm certainly never going to screw that up. Sure, that's not going to happen. But yes, July 25th to July 2nd. So it's 1 week only, and all you need to have is a PC Battle.net account. So at some point, they want to bring this PTR to console. They don't know for sure if they will. They've said that if they did, it would probably add more time to when the season could start. So I don't know if they're actually going to do it or not. So, okay. And it's all about testing updates. So a lot of the cool things here, they're probably going to be somewhat the same, but there might be changes, you know, quite like David Bowie said, you know, changes. The big thing though is like the story stuff isn't going to change, you know, and like certain encounters and things, we're not just going to completely get rid of that. That stuff's been scripted and programmed and all that type of stuff. But like, you know, maybe this is too difficult. Maybe it's too easy. Things like that are going to change. And that's the reason why they do the PTR. Also, it gives them early feedback in case there's a certain change that people just hate. That they have some time to change things. So, there's that as well. And there's a new Eternal quest line after the main quest line. So they're being secretive right now. They're being hush-hush on what the main quest line for Season 5 is going to be. But once you defeat that main quest line, there's another one that's going to be on both the Seasonal and Eternal Realm. So the realm that's based on seasons, and then the one where you did like the story campaign, and your seasonal characters go there, as well as your story characters, the Eternal Realm. And basically you're heading to Hawazar in World Tier 3, you're investigating a disturbance amongst the city folk, and completing the quest line allows you to battle the Infernal Hordes. No relation. Different spelling. Okay. The new gameplay activity coming with Season 5, you have to complete this quest once across your account. So sometimes you have to do these quests multiple times if you're doing multiple characters type of thing. It's only once across an entire account. So a lot of people will be happy about that. For me, I really like to just take one character and focus on them. Because I play other games and, you know, I do other things. So it's like I don't have all the time in the world to do like 2 or 3 characters a season. Okay, here we go. Helltides were only the beginning of the horrors lying in wait. Confront seemingly endless waves of Hell's legions in the realm of hatred, as the infernal hordes grow more powerful with each passing day. So, the realm of hatred, that takes us to, let's see here, Mephisto again, you know, leading up into Mephisto. So that's really cool because, you know, the whole Vessel of Hatred. And it's an activity where you slay hordes while, again, not me. You'll be fighting demons. It won't be me or anyone I know. Okay. And while burning, and then you slay the hordes and you earn Burning Aether to unlock powerful weapons and rewards. And then, if you slay enough of these hordes, you fight the Fell Council. Again, those are the fallen Zekarum priests that have become demons, and these are like totally new villains. Like they showed like the artwork for them; they look great. It looks like each one is based around a specific elemental attack. Like I saw one that looked like it was ice. I saw one that looked like it was fire, but they look really cool. They're like kind of lanky and kind of like almost hunched over. They're real big. They're tall. And so what happens is you basically go, and the Infernal Horde, it's 90 seconds each for a limited time wave. So you have the wave, you have to finish the enemies off in 90 seconds, and then there's another wave. After you get through all of them, you have you fight the Fell Council. There's going to be 5 members of the Fell Council in total, and there's going to be 3 that you fight at a time. And I believe they said it turns out to be, you know, like 30 different ways that can go. So they wanted to have it be very replayable. So you'd fight the Fell Council and you'd want to do it again, so it's not the exact same thing each time. And yes, depending on the different elemental abilities and the, actual powers that these things have, the Foul Council, it could be a very different experience each time. So that's really cool. And then once you defeat the waves, so before the Fell Council, the waves themselves, you get to choose an infernal offer, either a boon or a bane, and no stack. And depending on how many levels you have, how many waves you have, those will stack insanely. So you want to think about it. You want to use strategy. It's almost a little bit like doing runs, almost like in something like Hades, but a lot less dialogue and story. More like it's like a side feature of a game than it is the entirety of what the game is. But it's a very cool idea, and it's something definitely that they could expand upon too if people like this. So that's pretty much all the important information. Again, June 25th next week is the start of the PTR, and it goes through July 2nd. And if you have a Battle.net account on PC, you'll be able to do that. So there's more details on like starting at like level 100 or starting at using the levels I believe that your season 4 character is at and moving up through them. There's a number of different options that you can do. So that's cool too. Okay. Now, Nintendo Direct. They shocked us. They surprised us with a 40-minute Direct. And, they have these about once every month. Sometimes they're more like 20 minutes. Sometimes they're a half hour. So this was a little bit longer than the average one. And it did not disappoint. So, first off, if you're talking about games available on other consoles, it turns out that Lego Horizon Adventures, they showed the trailer for that, and it actually looks really good on the Switch. I was surprised. So, Aloy on the Switch. Also, we saw a little bit of a gameplay, a trailer it was, for Funko Fusion coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I plan on picking that up on PS5. I'll be streaming it, but I think it's great that it's going to be portable because it looks like this really cool experience with a lot of awesome different IPs as well as a lot of great characters. Like, this is probably the closest we'll get to a AAA Masters of the Universe game. Like, seriously. And, like, Chucky's in here. Megan's in here. The Thing. The movie that's from, like, I think 1980, 1981 by John Carpenter. That's in here. Back to the Future. Like, it's ridiculous. Jurassic Park. The Walking Dead. Somehow, this game has all of that in it. The closest thing I could compare it to is like Lego Dimensions, except that everything seems to be included in the main game. Like, they might do something like later on where you can get Funko Pops and maybe you'll get a digital skin of a character that you already have or something like that. But I don't think they're going to have like digital toy and DLC for like missions and stories. I don't think they're going to be doing that. Okay. And then the actual Nintendo stuff. First party. Mario and Luigi Brothership. And no, this is not about trying to get Mario and Luigi laid. We're not trying to ship them with other characters in the Mushroom Kingdom. No, it's called Brothership because it takes place on a series of islands. And if you're a fan of like Paper Mario, Super Mario RPG, I think you are going to love this. And I think when you actually see gameplay, you might be shocked because the animation and like the camera angles and everything make it look like it shouldn't even perform on the Switch. Like, it looked really, really good. Okay. Then we had The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Woke. And of course, if you've known me at all, I'm just kidding. It's actually pretty wild. So we got A Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. And this is going to be the first mainline 2D Legend of Zelda game where you play as Zelda. And Zelda has this like magic staff wand type thing that lets her duplicate things, including enemies. So you can like, they show it in the gameplay. You can duplicate tables. You can like duplicate, Octoroks, things like that, and have them fight your enemies. Now, I am hoping there's a little bit more of a visceral nature to it. I'm hoping that like Zelda can just like maybe clonk an enemy on the head with the staff and stun them or something. I'm hoping you're not just like a field general directing enemies at them. Also, I hope they really took into account this type of gameplay. Because if it's about like building tables and stuff like that, and like, using strategy, if the enemies just rush you all the time and stuff, and there's just tons of them, that'll be very frustrating very quickly. So, I'm gonna guess that Nintendo thought of these things, right? But I think it's gonna be really cool. And the fun thing about Nintendo is, they're like, guess what? We're announcing a game and it comes out in 2 or 3 months. Because I believe the Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom comes out, I believe, in September or October. And November, I believe, is Mario and Luigi Brothership. So very soon. Some other companies, they're like 2 years, 3 years out, they announce a game. And Nintendo is like 2 months, 3 months. I do like that. I find it impressive. And one thing, too, about Nintendo, and I'll get into this with Metroid Prime 4, too, is it's all about creativity and art direction. It's not pure strength of the console. It's not like the horsepower of the graphics, anything like that. It's all about creativity and excellent art direction. And that's what Nintendo has been doing since the Wii. I think the Wii I would consider the first Nintendo console that was not anywhere near as powerful as competing consoles from other companies. And then they blew everyone's mind, including mine, with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And it looks like the Hunters are back from Metroid Prime Hunters. And it looks awesome. And apparently Metroids are working with the Hunters. Or maybe the Metroids are controlling the Hunters. We don't know. It looks phenomenal. Some people, including a friend, Xbox Live Mike, compared it to like the newer Halo games. The detail on the space pirates looks great. And I'm very impressed with it. I'm very impressed. And again, it's one of those games where looking at it, I'm like, how is that running on the Switch? So it's very possible that this could be almost a launch title for the Switch 2, or as I like to call it, Switch It Up. Nintendo, you can totally have that if you want it. Totally. No money, just be like, oh, Hoarder mentioned it. Yeah. We'll be good then. But yeah, so where I was going to, that would be roughly about like spring or so, because the rumor was that the new Switch successor would be next year, and that maybe they would announce it closer to Christmas, the holidays, but it would come out right around like March, April, something like that. And that's not out of the realm of possibility. They have, I forget if it was Game Boy Advance or if it was the original DS. One of those came out right around Easter when it came out. So they have done hardware during that time period. I know they've definitely done uniquely colored Game Boys during that time period, and had like a pack-in game with them. That they've done. I remember that. But yes, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, it's been like 6-7 years. They announced it, and then like the head of the company had to come forward and say, we're sorry, it's just not working. We're working now again with the Retro company. They'll be taking over. And now it's been like 4 years since that period, I think, 4 or 5. And we finally get to see Metroid Prime 4. And it's called Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Okay. Now, we are done talking about Nintendo. We're going to finish gaming with July 2nd, everybody. July 2nd is the launch of the first Descendant. And for me, I'm starting with the equivalent of an ice mage named Viessa. Viessa is able to basically take buffs off of enemies as well as do a lot of really cool ice-based things. So that's why I consider Viessa basically like the ice mage. Okay? And then I'm going to go with a tank named Axel, and everyone's favorite speedster, Bunny. People loved Bunny in the beta. People loved Bunny in the trailers. Bunny is going to be a very popular character. Now, in the beginning, you choose between Viessa, Axel, and another character. Now, they might have changed it to between 4 characters you can choose, but I think it's just still 3. So of those first starting 3, again, I'm going with Viessa, again, the ice-type mage character. Okay? So then, as I unlock characters, which you do in-game, I'm pretty sure there'll be a way that you could, pay to do it sooner, just like Warframe, but here you'll be able to earn them as well. So I'll want to have Axel, so I have access to his shields and his tankiness, and then Bunny for insane amounts of speed. So she's basically like the Energizer Bunny. Think of it this way. Basically, your momentum gives you like more powerful attacks and everything. It's really neat how she's going to work. I'm very much looking forward to her. And I lied. We have one final bit of gaming information. An awesome, just incredible game is getting a 20th anniversary release next week, Beyond Good and Evil. And perhaps more insanely, it's going to have another mission that connects itself to Beyond Good and Evil 2. Which means that freaking game still exists, which, mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. And they have a really cool, like, cel-shaded effect they're doing to the graphics. It looks very good in this game. And I don't know the price yet. Maybe it'll be 20, maybe it'll be 25 bucks. I honestly don't know, but Beyond Good and Evil is excellent. I was playing the HD version just yesterday and a little bit today, and it's really cool. I don't want to get too far, though, because I actually want to stream. Expecting Hoarder slow runs, those games mentioned? Yes. A lack of speed run. Good to see you, Lumi. A lack of speed run. That's what I like to call them. Games done glacially. Or if you prefer, games done eventually. Both of those work. Both of those are good titles. And now, everybody, we are done with gaming news for the week. Next up, we are going to toy around. So, first up for our toys, we have, get ready for it, Snickety Snicked Flames. That's right, everybody. We have Halverine. The unholy combination of Abragul, a demon, and Wolverine, and then, a little bit of Ghost Rider thrown in. Halverine. Okay? I love how they do the head, the actual, like, skull with the flames coming out, because when you look in the comic book, it looks more like the masks on and everything else like that. But this looks really great. So the Halverine is going to be part of the Strange Tales series of Marvel Legends. They keep coming up with really cool figures. And Halverine's relatively new. Issue 2 comes out next week. Now, I won't be covering that, in about 5 to 10 minutes. But, just to let everybody know how new the character of Halverine is. Issue 2 comes out next week. Like, I believe he showed up, and was pretty popular, but now we're finally getting a really cool figure for him, and there we go. There we go. I believe it's $24.99. Most Marvel Legend figures are $24.99. If you notice, they come with some cool accessories, extra hands and such. So there's Halverine. But wouldn't it be really nice if, like, there was another super cool Marvel Legends figure? Maybe one at Hoarder Gamer is probably gonna Well, look at this! Where did that come from? Dracula, everybody. Marvel's Dracula. 2 heads. Now, apparently, the cape can flip so it looks like the wind is controlling it, And the back of the second head, the one that's not attached to the body, apparently the hair can go sideways, again for like a wind effect. There was pictures of it. So otherwise, I have no idea what I was seeing if that's not what, you know, the toy can actually do. But again, $24.99 for Dracula, which is really good because Marvel's comic book Blood Hunt is currently going on, and issue 4 comes out next week. But again, that's something I will not be covering. Don't worry, I will be covering a number of comic books coming out next week, just not those two. Okay, so now we have Dracula. What if we had some G.I. Joe? What if we actually had, you know, instead of G.I. Joe, what if we had Cobra with the Stinger? Okay, Stinger and the Stinger driver. It might save a driver's name. I forget if they have a specific name. But this is a very cool set. I do think it's pricey, though. I gotta be honest with you. 6-inch figure, 6-inch scaled vehicle, $99.99. Part of that cost is going to be all the effects you see there. All the extra, like the blasts and stuff like that, the weapons. They very much pack these with all the cool stuff you would want. And I know there's some features on the vehicle, like the lights might actually light up on the front. I'm not sure. So that would drive the cost, especially if it's LEDs or something. But yes, the Cobra Stinger. I think it's really cool. And when people were like complaining about the price, here's where things got interesting. The collectors were saying they do not expect a lot of these getting made. They do not expect a situation of previous G.I. Joe vehicles where they had like a whole mess of them and you'd get them on discount at like Target or something like that. They think that they're doing a lot lesser runs of these toys, and some of these people have connections. So they definitely might know things that I don't, because I do not have a lot of insight into the deep connections of the toy manufacturers. That's something I'm working on. Wouldn't that be a great mutant power? I'd go by the name Toyman, but then I would probably be sued by, I think, both Marvel and DC. Oh well. Next up, we have something I'm even more excited for, and something that's going to be a lot less expensive, everybody. You used to know him as Nemesis Enforcer. Okay? Now he's Nemesis Immortal. And one of the reasons, there's 2 versions of him. So I believe that's the reason the name changed. Also, I think they lost the rights. So, okay to tell us, Hoarder, we won't keep your ties to the comic world a secret? Yes. The amazing cabal of comics and toys that I'm involved in. So, okay, this is a oversized big action figure. And you're thinking, oh, G.I. Joe? It says G.I. Joe in the package. No. You're thinking Cobra. And no. Cobra La. The experimental, part human, part reptile, crazy part of G.I. Joe. Like the just nutty, insane part of G.I. Joe. And here's one figure, right? Here's one figure. And then take a look at this one. This will be a picture of the back of the package. Look at that. Look at the wingspan. Look at the alternate head. Now, I think this is a larger figure. This might be in the 8-inch range instead of 6-inch. So price-wise, I'm thinking 35, maybe 40. It's still a lot less expensive than Stinger and Driver, but like, I think this is awesome. And this is Nemesis Immortal. Again, used to be known as Nemesis Enforcer. I definitely also want Golden Globulus. I believe that's the name of their leader. And then there's like 1 or 2 more. So I'm wondering if they're doing some insane, like, deluxe edition box for each of them. Because I believe it's Golden Globulus has this insane snake body. numerous segments of a snake. So it would have to be pretty big. Let that into the Warhammer world. That figure is pretty amazing. I don't think so. Although Hasbro, I think, does have the rights to D&D. So, I don't know. For all I know, Hasbro might actually own D&D. This stuff's so confusing as to who owns what. Because I think Hasbro makes stuff for Wizards of the Coast. I don't know. I don't know. But, like, there is this, like, definitely a relationship between a number of companies like that and the and D&D. Okay, everybody. We are done toying around. You know what? I think we toyed around really well this week. I believe that was 5 different pictures, 4 toys total. So, had some really cool stuff announced this week. And it's not always like that. Sometimes it's like, ugh, another turtle. Or, another Fortnite figure. But no, this is a really good week for toys and toy announcements. So I was quite happy. Quite happy. Okay. Next up, we are going to look into the future. The near future of comic books. All the way to 1 week from today. Okay, everybody. So, first up, we have Moon Knight, number 6. Okay, Jed MacKay, a new Moon Knight. I still don't think we know who he is yet. They might have had some hints, but I don't think we know yet who that is. But here's the big deal. This is a crossover with Blood Hunt. So it's the Midnight Mission versus tons of vampires. So this should be an action-packed, very fun book that pulls away from the main story arc for an issue and is just very entertaining. Jed MacKay, currently one of my favorite comic writers. So Moon Knight number 6. And this is a book I do follow monthly. So, Moon Knight number 6. Not just Spider-Man, but Superior Spider-Man. Okay, so in case you didn't know, Superior Spider-Man is basically Dr. Otto Octavius inside Peter Parker's body. And he did a lot of frightening, scary things. And surprisingly, he actually, for a while, was a crime fighter. Just a little bit more violent than Peter. He didn't immediately go to crazy, you know, like murdering people and stuff. And then, like, he actually listens to the radio broadcasts from the police and stuff. So at one point, he actually wanted to, you know, do this in, like, a more, I guess, superior way, we'll say. But, you know, things get different. And Doc Ock is not completely sane, I guess you could say. So it probably, you know, not going to last all that long. And here's issue 8 of Superior Spider-Man. And I believe of this arc, it's supposed to be the final issue. One thing I like to do when it's a final issue of an arc is not be like, hey, everybody, go out there and get all 8 issues right now. It'll probably be in a trade soon. Like, I'll be shocked if it isn't. It's Dan Slott, one of people's favorite Marvel writers, one of the best writers for Spider-Man. It's definitely going to have a trade. So just keep that in mind. Superior Spider-Man, and it's basically like Volume 2. Now, where it gets very interesting is Dan Slott did a Superior Spider-Man years ago, but last time I checked, all those volumes are out of print. So, in a perfect world, in a world where Marvel and Disney do like money, I could see them re-release that original volume from, I think, about 10 years ago or so, and then this one. So hopefully they'll do that, because a lot of people have not read the original run, and I think would really love to. Like, the last time I checked, it was like 3 or 4 volumes, I think, and like only one was in print. All the rest were very expensive, and, you know, it was out of print. So Superior Spider-Man number 8 coming out next week. Okay, everybody. Sometimes I like what's called an event. A big, juicy event comic. Absolute Power. And this is Ground Zero. Okay? So, the Brainiac Queen, Amanda Waller, and a number of other very terrifying individuals, including Failsafe, are trying to wrest absolute power from the Justice League. And they have found a way to take metahuman abilities away from heroes. This is going to be a huge event, and it's some of the best writers for DC Comics working on it, and this is literally ground zero. This is where it all begins. So I want to say there's 5 or 6 different covers, and then it's going to go into like Absolute Power being the name of like the crossover afterwards. So I'm very excited for this, because sometimes a crossover will happen and it's not like one of my favorite characters or something. But here, as you can see on the cover, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman are huge parts of this story arc. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. And let's see here. What else? How about we actually show more of the Brainiac Queen? Action Comics 1066. Now this is Chapter 5 of the House of Brainiac, an ongoing series between Action Comics, Superman, and a number of other comics, including Power Girl and I believe Green Lantern. So, again, a crossover, and a really good one if you're a fan of Brainiac. So right here, this is actually Volume 5, and then Volume 6, or Chapter 6, is also coming next week as well. That's Superman number 15. So you have Action Comics 1066 if you're a Superman fan, and you actually have Superman 15. Now, if you're a Batman fan, it compounds everything more because you've got Detective Comics next week as well. So, and finally, everybody, Cobra Commander, Volume 1, written by Joshua Williamson, who might possibly be taking over Spider-Man after Zeb Wells leaves. Amazing Spider-Man. So, yeah, this is a very cool, very dark, and crazy take on Cobra Commander and his rise to power. And it connects bits and pieces that were like in the original cartoon, but in a different order. It makes it very interesting. But I highly recommend this. What you're looking at right now is the direct market cover. So if you go to your local comic shop, you'll be able to get this cover and the basic version of the cover. The difference is this cover will only be available for the first printing. So, and I think it looks really cool. I think it's iconic. You know, the back of Cobra Commander, all the Cobra soldiers. I like it a lot. I think it's really good. But yeah, $14.99. I believe it's 5 issues. Cobra Commander, Volume 1. And this ties in with the book I'll be reviewing today in just a moment. Okay? Also, connected to Duke, Scarlet, we'll be looking at today, Destro, and, Cobra Commander. So we have all these miniseries that are going to lead us to a brand new G.I. Joe comic book. So, all from Skybound Image. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. 'Cause Cobra Commander was great. Duke was great. Okay. And with that, everybody, we are done looking into the future of comic books. All the way to, I was going to say 1 week from today. I can't. 1 week from last Wednesday. 1 week from last Wednesday is technically what it is. So you'll have to pretend earlier when I did the wacky voice, that I said 1 week from last Wednesday. Okay, everybody. Next up, we have, as soon as I find the picture, there it is, Destro #1. Look at it, in stereo. Destro in stereo. Destro #1. Now, first off, it's not a big deal because of just the pricing of comics. $3.99, $4.99 is normal, but image books are usually $3.99. This book is an extra 10 pages, though, so the $4.99 price tag definitely made sense. I was like, well, that's odd of all their books to be $3.99, and you know, but yeah, an extra 10 pages. So very cool. Laird Destro has a arms like rally / sale and wants to bring the biggest buyers across the planet together to buy terrifying weapons of murder and death from Mars Industries, his company. But along the way, he's having some, you know, I guess almost imposter syndrome. So at one point he goes to the either statues or the still living previous Destros for some information and like guidance. So that was interesting because like we don't know if it's some weird thing where they're still somehow alive or something, but he goes like to this shrine with all these people and statues standing. Also, much to Cobra Commander and Destro's chagrin, it turns out that BATs, the android soldiers that Cobra has, are not viable currently because they will shoot at anyone, including the troops they're standing next to that are on the same side as them. And Cobra Commander is just not thrilled. He's like, they're useless. Okay. Cut to Tomax and Zaymot. Tomax and Zaymot were thought to be at that arms sale. They weren't, they're missing. So Destro's kind of wondering, where are they? Well, they're basically trying to lead like a insurgency / coup, and it leads to having the what was it, captain or general murdered, and then all of his troops murdered too to prove a point. Yeah, really crazy stuff, I gotta say. And Tomex and Zaymot are like, 20% estimated casualties. And like, the soldier's like, what are you talking about? That's medieval. And then Tomax is like, decimation is Roman, actually. 4th century BC. Because it's Tomax and Zaymot. And they're like, Eurotrash lunatics. Eurotrash murderous lunatics. So, yeah. There's a scene of Crimson Guard going to the troops that are like trying to heal and, took a lot of like, the wounded, things like that. They got shot and everything. And they go into the tents and just shoot them all up. Because it's Tomax and Zaymot. And they're apparently working directly with the general, not the soldier. And then they strangle the soldier. Meanwhile, during the arms sale, crazy-looking vehicles attack. And Destro is under attack, and he said, war has been declared. I thought it was very good. Now, what I do have to admit, it didn't blow me away like issue 1 of Cobra Commander did. Like, issue 1 of Cobra Commander had a lot of, like, weird, like, mystery and, like, what the hell's going on here type of vibe going on. And a very, very, like, mundane opening of Cobra Commander walking into, like, a seedy bar. And it just set the mood so well for, a story about Cobra Commander. But I very much like this issue. I just didn't absolutely love it. I do think it's a good beginning, though, for the Destro storyline. And if you want to have even more Destro, he's all over the Duke comic book. The Duke trade is also $14.99, and it's 5 issues as well, just like that Cobra Commander one I mentioned earlier. So, but yeah, I there's none of these books have been bad yet. I still have to get to Scarlet. I have issue 1, but I have not read it yet. But yeah, Destro 1, pretty awesome. Just not to me as excellent as Cobra Commander, at least with issue 1. Okay, everybody. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I'm guessing most people will watch this on demand because, like, yeah, I mean, the scheduling for this went crazy, and I will do my best to have the show Wednesday. Next week it will be. It will be this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central, same. I can't even say same bat time, but I can say same bat channel. But yes, 8 p.m. next Wednesday will be the next episode. And again, thank you, everybody. I apologize for the rescheduling and also the confusion, because initially I thought it could happen Thursday. Then I thought it could happen Friday. I was wrong. Everybody, I hope you have a great week. If you like the show, feel free to sub, cool. Thank you. Again, I only like to bring that up at the end. I don't like to harp and preach on it. So I don't know. It just feels icky to me, if that makes any sense. Okay. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a great week. For whatever reason, if you wanted to watch me, I'll be actually streaming in about a little less than an hour on Twitch. I'll be doing some Destiny actually tonight. Maybe another game as well, but Destiny 2 definitely. So, twitch.tv/Hoarder Gamer. Of course, when First Ascendant comes out, I'll be doing quite a bit of that as well. And I'm enjoying V Rising too, a vampire survival simulator crazy game. So, and like I mentioned, Beyond Good and Evil coming out next week. I do plan on streaming that. So, the 20-year anniversary version. Have an excellent week, everybody. Bye-bye.